All right, so we're here today to talk about why I went with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K over the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Man, they got some names at Blackmagic, don't they? It's not Pocket, it's huge. I mean, it's not huge, it's a great camera. But I mean, it's not Pocket. And you've heard that said before. But then again, they got the Ursa Mini, which isn't really mini. I mean, it's smaller than the original Ursa, which they don't make anymore, so they should just call it the Ursa and get rid of the Mini because it's really not so mini. By the time you deck it all out with all the stuff you need to sort of the build outs and stuff, it's actually pretty much just a camera-sized camera. So I purchased this one the day after they released the 6K, and I'm going to talk to you about why I did that. It's because of the EF mount. I shoot Nikon, so EF mounts, while most people shoot them and it makes sense to release in an EF mount, I'm not disputing that. It would be nice if they had released it with the option to order an F mount or something like that. When you've got an EF mount to go into a Nikon lens, the flange distance is tiny. It's ridiculously small, so you need to have one of these. And I don't know if you can see that because it's so skinny, but it's just this tiny, tiny, tiny little adapter. It's got no room to put any kind of support in there. And basically, if you want to put any kind of lens with any kind of weight on that adapter, you need to support the lens's weight so that the adapter doesn't break. Because if you don't, they just buckle and bend. This one here got trashed. Look at that. Oh, look at that. You can just rip it apart. See? That's what happened with that. It was already trashed. So in order to use the EF, the 6K EF one with my Nikon lenses, I have to use one of those adapters, and then I'm gonna have to rig up a lens support system. So I'm gonna have to probably put a cage on this with a couple of 15mm rods and build in the support system for the lens. And by that time, what I'm doing is I'm taking the Pocket Cinema camera, which doesn't fit in your pocket, and extending it out to make it into some ridiculous like build camera. So that's why I didn't go with the 6K. Reason one. There's many other reasons, and we'll get into those. Instead, I went with the 4K and the Metabone speed booster. Now this speed booster is crazy strong, and because you're going from a Micro Four Thirds mount to the Nikon, there's a lot more room for the flange distance to be built out. So you do get a much sturdier mount, which means that, you know, barring using heavy lenses, you can pretty much mount a regular lens on this and not have to worry too much about the support, because the Metabones make some dope products, man. These things are amazing. I bought the first one for the first Pocket Cinema camera, and that thing is still working better. It actually works better than the Pocket Cinema camera does. So Metabones, if you're looking for it, just spend the money. They are worth it. They're amazing. They're not paying me to say that. I wish they would, because it'd be nice to get paid to say things. But no, they're not paying me to say that. I've just used them a whole bunch, and they're really, really good. So by putting that Metabone speed booster on there, and I got the XL 0.64, gives me the crop, it takes the crop factor down to like a 1.29, which is amazing. It's actually better than I'm getting on a Super 35 sensor with the full frame lens. So I'm getting a better field of view. I'm getting an extra stop of light. I've got this crazy strong mount. Everything's there. It's all the stuff that I want to be able to rig this camera the way I want it. And how I want to rig this camera is very, very simple. I want to put it in my hand like that with a lens on it, or I want to stick it on the Ronin S. That's about the only way I really want to use this camera, because I'm doing travel footage. And if you turn up anywhere with a big ass camera and some sticks, you're going to get told no. So this camera on a little gimbal looks like a tourist. Bang, I'm in, no stresses. I'm not wearing people out, and I'm not having to deal with all the, we're not sure if you can come in here. Maybe we don't want free promotion. Which does happen. It's crazy. I know, it seems insane, but that's what does happen. I shoot a lot of travel content. You can find that on my new channel, which is Cinematic Asia. I'll put a link somewhere in the empty spaces around here. Please check it out. We're doing some pretty cool stuff there. If you're looking to go through Asia, you can find tons of content. Like, we're putting out new content all the time. Right now, we're very much focused in Japan and Okinawa, but we are starting to extend throughout other parts of Asia. So keep an eye out for that. Hit the subscribe button and you will be just better for it. So that's one of the main reasons I went with this camera. Okay, let's get on to different reasons. Other reasons, right? Okay, so the 6K's just popped out, right? Now, using the 4K, if I want to use, say, the higher specs, so if I want to go the 4K RAW 60 lossless, so or I'm shooting even 3:1 or 5:1, it won't record onto the internal media without dropping frames. So it can't handle it. There's too much information going across the buffer. The media that's there, SD or CFast, just will not handle that amount of data that's going across. You do need to have the SSD mounted on top, which again is getting back into rigging the camera out. So that's something I'm trying to avoid. But you can't do that, even at 4K. So I'm guessing at 6K, you're gonna have even more problems. I'm just guessing here, it's just a spitball. I haven't got the camera, so I can't tell, but I'm thinking that the data rate's gonna be a little bit higher for 6K footage over 4K footage. So I'm thinking again, you're gonna be shooting in 6K, but you're still gonna be limited to going down to 12:1 in order to shoot that raw 60 frames a second onto the media. You can be able to shoot 24, I'm sure, but once you start wanting to shoot 60 frames, which we all really kind of want to get that buttery thing from time to time, that nice slow motion, yeah, you're going to be shit out of luck. So again, then you're going to be forced to put a cage on it or mount the hard drive and then have the USB and cables and blah, blah, blah. And it starts to look more and more like a professional grade camera the more crap you put on it, right? So to avoid that, you want to shoot internal. If you want to shoot internal, I don't think at this point the 6K is going to be, that much more amazing than what you're going to get out of the 4K. So anyway, let's go even further past that. I've got the feeling that the 6K pocket cinema camera that's popped out, there's a mad flurry of people that were dying to get their hands on this. Blackmagic knows that. They saw that. They had the back orders. Everything was going crazy. The reviews are going out through the roof. Everyone's reviewing the damn thing. So they threw the 6K out. I would think that there's going to be a 6K Ursa Mini coming very soon. And that's the one I'll hold off for the high resolution. I think that having a 4K in this form factor, especially for doing things like on YouTube and all this stuff, is overkill as it is. The 6K is going to be something that I'm going to want to use when I'm doing like heavy ass productions to give me that extra resolution. And I've got a feeling if that comes in an Ursa Mini body, then it's going to come with higher frame rates, better internal recording, and all the bells and whistles to go along with that extra resolution. So another reason for it is price, okay? Check this out, right? So I got the camera and the speed booster for $600 less than if I was just to buy the 6K camera. And with that $600, what did I do? I went to a remote ass island and filmed wild horses. It was pretty cool. You can see that video somewhere up there in the space. Have a look for the link. It's there. It's floating around somewhere. But yeah, I went to this cool ass island. It was amazing. It's super cool, right? It's like there's no one there. I mean, there was people there, but it was like super rural. I'm eating like fresh swordfish, cruising around in this old like smashed up van, listening to some reggae, sun's out, big cliff line, beautiful things. And what I know, next thing I see is just wild horses everywhere running along the cliff tops. So I'm there filming this, having the best time ever. Got the camera, got the speed booster, got the trip. All of that for the same price as just buying the one camera. I think, the other side of things too is, you start looking at the processing, that goes involved. So when I'm processing 4K raw footage, I mean, I'm using an iMac from 1 year ago, 5K iMac, all decked out, specced out to the top, and it still has, a little bit of trouble sometimes, especially if I want to do any kind of like fusion work in DaVinci and stuff. It starts to get a little laggy and a little slow at times. So taking that to 6K, then I've got to, you've got to start looking at that too, right? So now I've got to process that 6K, I've got to store that 6K, and it just, it adds on and on and on. And I think that it's way too easy just to get like hooked on the idea of 6K is bigger and better. I want it, it's new, it's more powerful, and not really look at, is it something that you actually need? Is it something that you really, really need for your workflow? For my workflow, I didn't need it. Like, don't need 6K yet. I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure the day's coming and I'm gonna need 6K, but by the time I need 6K, then they're gonna be 8K cameras out everywhere. It's just, that's the way it works. So I'm gonna hold off a little bit, stick with the 4K because it's got tons of resolution for what I need, and it processes better, and yeah, and that's the way I look at it when it comes to these things. Like, I try not to buy the first thing that comes out when it comes out, because it's usually, it's like surfing, right? You go surfing, I don't know if you surf, but I surf, but you go surfing, you don't take the first wave of the set, you go for the second or third wave, because they're usually a little bit better, and the first one kind of like just cleans out the water and gets rid of the garbage, but then the really nice one comes behind it. And it's the same thing with cameras. technology. A lot of times something brand new pops onto the market, everybody's excited about it. Oh my God, it's 6K and it goes in your pocket if you've got really huge pants. But yeah, it's going to be the Mark II. That's going to be the one, or the Ursa Mini that follows. That's going to be the camera that's got what you need, like kind of worked out the glitches. The 4K has been out for enough time now to know that, hey, it's a pretty solid piece of kit. That's why I went with 4K. Proven, better, awesome. Now I'm going to do a full review of this camera as well, which, I mean, there are many reviews on this, on the Pocket Cam 4K. So why not put one more out? Now I'm going to do one review of this camera, specifically how it translates for use in travel videos, because that is what I think it's really for. Travel videos, maybe like some music videos or smaller event videos, things like that. I think that's what this camera is for. So that's the mindset I'm going to review that in. So check, there'll be a link. These links, they just keep flying around everywhere. But yeah, find the link, it's up there. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button, because we're going to be dropping a whole bunch more real content. Yeah, no more fluff pieces, just straight up, this is what it is. And yeah, that's it. That's what I think. So like it, love it, hope it helps. I don't know, all good. But most importantly, happy shooting. Get out there, film content.